Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here, and today the Saffron Powerlings have a huge type advantage over the Goldenrod Aces, and the Aces are currently sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard and they want to desperately get away from there as quickly as possible. But the Saffron Powerlings are currently sitting in an Elite 4 position and they want to try and get on top of the leaderboard. So let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win. Will it be the fighting types? Will it be the normal types? Let's go! But that is right, as I said, the normal types are on the bottom of the leaderboard and they've lost 4 games in a row as they started with Oinkologne and Taurus. It'll be Hawlucha and Serena starting it out for the Saffron Powerlings. Hawlucha with that Mold Breaker ability, but Taurus with that Intimidate ability is going to lower the attack stat of these two fighting type Pokemon. And that is right, Serena is about to become a fighting type Pokemon as it terrestrializes, it sheds that grass typing. And they are very physical, are the Saffron Powerlings, and they are hoping to bring that here in full force against the Goldenrod Aces, as Hawlucha with the speed advantage goes for the power swap with Taurus. Now Taurus actually has a very impressive attack stat of 100 base as well, so it can bring the physical pain as it goes for the pain split, but there's no pain to be split between it and Hawlucha. Serena is going to go with the Bubble Beam onto Oinkologne. Only gets an okay hit there as Oinkologne is going to respond with a super effective Side Strike onto Serena. That would not have been super effective if it was still a grass type, but there's the Thunder Beam brought down onto Oinkologne from Hawlucha as Taurus responds with the tea time. It's about to take a break very early on in this matchup, so everyone can dig into their berries, and they all have a Leopard Berry, as does every Pokemon in the PokeType League, so they will chow down on that. Now the Saffron Powerlings do have a 5-1 record. That is fantastic as they currently sit in 4th place, so they are just within the Elite 4 positions. But if they win this, they're going to try and get themselves up as close to possible to that 1st place position as we get the Ceaseless Edge onto Tauros, and it is going to cause those spikes to fall on the side of the Goldenrod Aces. Oinkologne responding though with the Iron Head. Great hit there onto Serena, who is in knockout range, but Hawlucha goes for the super effective Drain Punch onto Oinkologne and gets the elimination. Hawlucha restores a tiny bit of health just to get back to full strength there, and that Lingering Aroma ability does transfer over to Hawlucha from Oinkologne. But as I said, Oinkologne has been eliminated. Taurus looking to respond, goes with the Bind here onto Serena. This will not do enough damage to eliminate, but it will continue to be squeezed, which could potentially get the elimination as Serena goes for the String Shot. Now this is going to greatly lower that speed stat of Taurus, which is base 110. Hawlucha still quicker though, has the base 118, and there is that Bind eliminating Serena. So an immediate elimination in response by the Goldenrod Aces. That is exactly what they needed to keep themselves in this game. But as I said, they do have a huge type disadvantage, and out comes Iron Valiant for the Saffron Powerlings, but it is a Rangaroo with that part Psychic typing landing in the spikes. It needs to capitalize on that type advantage as the Fury swipes from Hawlucha will not affect a Rangaroo. What is going on here? The fling though from Iron Valiant, clearly it wants to know what is happening, and it hits for a super effective damage there onto a Rangaroo. Rangaroo proceeds to eat the Leopard Berry, but it is revealed to be Hisuian Zoroark in its illusion form, and it responds immediately with the Rising Voltage onto Iron Valiant for some great damage there, and Taurus is going to follow it up with the Tickle onto Hawlucha. This is going to lower its physical stats, both at that attack and defense. Hawlucha does have a 92 base attack, so it's actually got the lowest attack stat on the Saffron Powerlings as it goes for the Headbutt, which will not affect Zoroark because it's a part Ghost type, and we have the Psychic Terrain being set up by Iron Valiant, which I think could actually be of detriment to the Saffron Powerlings. They do not want to be hit by Psychic type moves, but a Dark Pulse is not very effective onto Iron Valiant from Zoroark. Taurus follows it up though with the Shockwave, and this will be super effective onto Hawlucha. Doesn't do as much damage as I would have expected though. Hawlucha responds with the Rock Slide. This will hit both Zoroark and Taurus. And then we get the Wood Hammer followed up by Iron Valiant onto Taurus. Taurus is able to hold on as there is recoil damage for Iron Valiant. Zoroark responding for it, so going with the Head Smash. This is avoided by Hawlucha, however, and Taurus has flinched from that Rock Slide as the flower trick from Hawlucha, this is always a critical hit, connects with Zoroark and gets the elimination. Zoroark is taken out of this matchup. The Power Links are off to a fantastic start as the Infestation will not eliminate Tauros, but similar to Serena, this will continue to afflict damage, and it should finish it off at the end of the turn. But Tauros, with the Growl, is going to lower the attack stat of both Hawlucha for the second time in this matchup, in fact, and Iron Valiant having its attack base 130 lowered as Tauros is hurt by the Infestation, and it is eliminated. Here is the Saffron Power Link starting to build that momentum as the real Oranguru comes out now, as does Weird. So we have two normal Psychic types on the field. They need to capitalize on that Psychic type advantage, as Hawlucha has its attack stat lowered yet again, and so does Iron Valiant due to Weird's Intimidation ability. But Oranguru and Weird do get hurt by those spikes as Hawlucha begins absorbing light for a Solar Blade here that should connect in the next turn. But first, a dive, another 2-turn move from Iron Valiant. Saffron Power Links clearly have a strategy here as it dives underwater, and we get the Teeter Dance from Weird, which will confuse both Oranguru and Hawlucha, but Iron Valiant, due to the dive, is able to avoid it. And Oranguru will definitely want to shake this off. Weird does not want its own teammate doing damage to itself at all. Oranguru is in that opportunity though to shake it off, and it is successful as it goes for the Spatial Rend onto Hawlucha. Fantastic hit there, but not enough to get the elimination, as Hawlucha now needs to shake off the confusion to get this Solar Blade, but unfortunately it does damage to itself. It does hold on though, so it is still in this matchup. It is an easy target. Iron Valiant though, with the dive onto Oranguru. Oranguru tanks that move, and Weird with the Drill Run will finish off Iron Valiant, taking out the very impressive Paradox Pokemon, as Oranguru also still in its confused state. Yet again though, is able to shake it off and goes for the Strength Sap. It is going to restore its health and lower that attack stat yet again of Hawlucha, who's probably going to be able to do very little damage, having 4 attack drops in this matchup. And out comes Quaquaval for the Saffron Power Links. I always feel like I'm going to struggle with that name, but Hawlucha really needs to shake off this confusion or it will eliminate itself, and it does go for the Flare Blitz onto Oranguru. Minimal damage, but it's going to get recoil from this, but first it leaves Oranguru with the burn damage. Now it is more of a special attacker, as it will have its attack stat cut in half. Weird with the Dragon Breath though will finish off Hawlucha, who had been in this matchup since the very beginning. Very good showing there by the Fighting Flying type, and Oranguru has finally snapped out of its confusion. This is going to allow it to go for the high horsepower, but it looks like Quaquaval will be able to dodge that attack, and Oranguru feeling the effects of that burn. It will take consistent damage from that, and now out comes another Tauros, but this time it's the Paldean Tauros for Saffron Power Links, and it immediately goes for the Glaive Rush onto Oranguru. Fantastic hit there. And we get the teleport from Quaquaval. It will go back to the bench. It is still in this matchup, even though it's disappeared. And out comes Annihilate with that Ghost typing. It will be immune to the normal type attacks, but it will not be immune to that Crunch from Weird, and it's not going to be able to avoid the Poison Powder from from Oranguru either. Annihilate will feel the effects of that, similar to the burn. It will take continuous damage throughout this matchup. There's Oranguru feeling the effects of that burn. Still only has a number of turns left, surely, as Paldean Tauros that is, goes for the Reflect. It is going to make its side stronger against physical moves. And Annihilate follows it up with the Happy Hour. It must be feeling confident for the Saffron Power Links. It's a 3v3 battle, and we still don't know who the last Pokemon for the Goldenrod Aces is, but we get the Arm Thrust from Weird, which won't affect Annihilate due to that Ghost type. And Oranguru, looking to follow it up though, goes for the Low Sweep, and again Annihilate is unaffected due to the Fighting type immunity that it has as well. It is not immune to that poisoning that it already has though, so it will take damage there, and Oranguru is still feeling the effects of the burn. And now the spikes are being thrown out onto the side of the Goldenrod Aces. That is now 2 sets of spikes that are out on that side. And Annihilate follows it up with the Acid Armor, so it is going to boost its defense a great deal here. Weird now going with the Leech Life onto Annihilate. Very little damage. It will be able to restore the tiniest thread of health, does Weird after that Leech Life. Oranguru looking to do more though, sets up a grassy terrain. Now anyone on the field who has taken damage will restore health. Now if Pokemon were to be levitating, they would not be restoring any health, so most Pokemon on the field should restore health, except for Tauros, who is still at full strength. And for Annihilape and Oranguru. This Grassy Terrain actually offsets a little bit of their status conditions that they are suffering from at the moment, so it should keep them in the matchup a little bit longer. But Taurus, looking to have something to say, goes for the Burning Jealousy, hitting both Oranguru and Weirdo. Annihilape follows it up with the Play Rough onto Weirdo, gets a really good hit there, as well as Weirdo is going to respond with the Withdraw, so it is going to boost its defense here, making it better at taking a physical hit. And we get the Petal Dance from Oranguru. Fantastic hit onto Taurus. So now Taurus is also going to have its health restored from that Grassy Terrain. That Petal Dance capitalizing on the Grassy Terrain as well, making that Grass type move a lot stronger onto Taurus there, as Annihilape is still feeling the effects of the poisoning. Oranguru is still holding on in that burn damage as well. Taurus could finish it off here though, instead goes for the Absorb onto Weirdo. Everyone is taking health from each other and trying to restore their own health and hold on in this matchup. Annihilape is going to go though with the Meteor Mash, and Oranguru is taken out and eliminated. The Saffron Powlings have taken the lead as Weirdo is going to respond with the Heavy Slam onto Taurus. Does not do much damage, however, as Taurus is going to restore most of the damage that it just received from Weirdo. Annihilape still feeling the effects of the poisoning. Again, it does offset. The Grassy Terrain does offset it a little though, as Ursaluna comes out for the Goldenrod Aces, and immediately it is hurt by those spikes, and it is poisoned from the toxic spikes as well, as the Bleak Wind Storm onto both Weirdo and Ursaluna from Taurus will not do much damage. Annihilape with the Echoed Voice onto Weirdo. It doesn't do a great deal of damage either, allowing Weirdo to respond with the Leer. This is going to lower those defensive stats of the Saffron Powlings. Now Annihilape, with that hidden ability Define, it will have its attack stat greatly lifted, but the high horsepower from Ursaluna is avoided by Annihilape, and Taurus is restoring health. Now you do not want to take a physical hit from Annihilape after having that base 115 physical attack stat boosted. It will hurt the Goldenrod Aces greatly, especially if it is a fighting type move. They need that poisoning to take it out as soon as possible. As Ursaluna is also feeling the effects of its own poison status condition. And that Reflector's finally worn off for the Saffron Powlings as we get our first time warning. There's the Thunderfang from Taurus, which doesn't affect Ursaluna due to its part ground typing. Annihilape with the Haze, however, on the field. All stat changes being eliminated due to the Haze. Weirdo, not caring though, goes for the Slam, and it gets the elimination of Taurus. That was a fantastic hit from Weirdo. Ursaluna looking to follow it up, goes for the double hit, but Annihilape is immune to the double hit, so that will keep it in the matchup, and it will have its health restored from the Grassy Terrain, which has kept it in this matchup much longer than what would have happened if it didn't have it due to this poisoning. Still doing so much damage to Annihilape. Quaquaval will come back out onto the field as we get our second time warning, and if we go into overtime, any remaining Pokemon in this matchup will be restored back to full health, and it will become a singles battle, and Quaquaval back out on the field as Annihilape with the burn up. Unfortunately, it does fail though. It is not the correct type, and it's Quaquaval with the Dire Claw onto Ursaluna. Not very effective. Weirdo looking to go for a hard hit, goes with the Smog onto Annihilape. It's not enough to get the elimination, but remember, it is poison. That could finish it off first though. Ursaluna with the Steel Roller. It fails, and here is that poisoning. Annihilape needs to hold on, but it doesn't, and Annihilape is eliminated. The Goldenrod Aces have taken back the lead as we are in the dying seconds of this matchup. Ursaluna feeling the effects of its poisoning as well, but Quaquaval needs to hold on for this remaining time. It goes with the Accelerate onto Weirdo. Weirdo is still in this matchup, responds with the Shadow Claw. Great hit there onto Quaquaval. Ursaluna follows it up with the Phantom Force, so it is going to vanish from the field instantly. It's still going to feel the effects of its poisoning, but it's still in this matchup. We are potentially going into overtime. Quaquaval with the Dragon Darts hits Weirdo once. It's going to hit it again, so it gets the elimination. Ursaluna needs to finish off Quaquaval with this Phantom Force, or we do go into overtime. Quaquaval gets the Moxie boost, but it will not carry that boost into overtime. And there's the Phantom Force, but Quaquaval holds on. Ursaluna could be eliminated due to its poisoning though, and it holds on as well. So Quaquaval and Ursaluna will be restored to full health. The battle is not over, but regulation time is. But we are back in overtime. The Goldenrod Aces have taken the Saffron Powlings to the limit. Out comes Ursaluna at full strength. Quaquaval back at full strength, but it has lost that Moxie boost. It does have the speed advantage, however, and it goes with the Revelation Dance. and massive damage. Super effective hit there onto Ursaluna, who looks to respond with the Poison Tail. Gets a great hit there onto Quaquaval. Doesn't leave it poisoned though. Quaquaval with the Encore, which unfortunately does fail. This will allow Ursaluna to go for the headbutt, another physical move, and gets a fantastic hit. Quaquaval is going to respond with the Hex, which Ursaluna is immune to because of its normal typing. This allows Ursaluna to respond with the Facade, and it gets the elimination. The Goldenrod Aces on the bottom of the ladder have beaten the Fighting type Saffron Powlix. This is fantastic for the normal types. They have ended their 4-game losing streak and moved themselves back up to 18th place. So they only sat on the bottom of the ladder for one game. But next round they will be facing the Akala Capsules, whereas the Powlings stay sitting in 4th place. And next round they will be taking on the Lumiose Glitches. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome. I'll see you when you see me.